this page you can see that Mosi. In this page you can see that Mosi is talking about is revealing the truth about Ted, where when the construction of health centers when the municipal council invited the bids to the construction of health centers, he could ensure that the companies are associated with his relatives and friends who won the tenders. Then Nicole is surprised, where he said that Ted was his very close political ally, but Mosi still denied. He says that is a worst scandal in the municipality.
Responsible for noise pollution from the nightclubs. Okay, so he was a DJ in a nightclub. So in page 65, we say by at first, on page 64, Mosi had referred Ted as a bat, and he also explains how Ted he got the votes whereby people, after being a pirate and a nuisance to the public, people really liked him and voted for him. And also another thing what made people like about Ted, how he put his hairstyle and how he wore the right jeans. And here again we see how Mosi regrets for giving Ted the money for campaign, and also wishes that he could even die.
66. Here we see Mosi referring Seima as a pitiful human being who is the secretary to the Municipal Department of Planning and Development. He concludes that Seima and his group don't bother about proper building standards as long as they were given dollars. We see also Nicole asking Mosi why he did not take actions. And Mosi replies that Seima is dangerous, as he was responsible for disappearance of people, and he is also behind the murderous Black Sun gangs that is responsible for most of the violence that Nicole's read on newspapers.
Apart from violence, what else does he conduct?
He also says that Seima also sells drug, and he thinks he is responsible for the municipality's reputation as a key location in narcotic trafficking.
Is it a physical disease or just from his behavior? He's making claims to sanitize himself. I don't know if maybe at your age you have not interacted with people who talk ill about others, so that they can seem like they are so good. When people love to talk about the ills of others, they can make others look so worse. They can even create information about what kind of people they are, maybe the religion. You've even heard about politicians, haven't you? You hear some people saying this one goes to Illuminati, I don't know this one, and citizens buy that because people like when others are gossiped about. Even in villages, you actually can hear some people creating rumors about certain family. They can even say they are witches, I don't know they are what, they normally do that at night, their wealth is I don't know from where. Yet, maybe in reality, if you go deeper, you realize it's not true. Now remember, Nicole was trying to make Mosi realize that he has failed as a mayor. So now Mosi wants to sanitize himself so that he seems to have done the best, and the only wrong people are those under him. So now he talks about all this, like when he says he has a strange disease, I cannot even touch him. He's trying to make this man look like he's so evil. And here, it is about us to decide whether it is symbolic, the disease, or whether he's talking about a real physical disease. because it's not actually specific. He just says he has a strange disease and he doesn't mention which disease. Yeah.
See that this theme of corruption, where the people elect leaders that are not learned. These leaders have fake documents which they obtain from the streets, and the document claims that they have degree in the field of law, yet they don't know anything about law. We see also the council chamber is full of robbers, pirates, nymphomaniacs, murderers, and drug dealers. That is why most of them abdict most of their duties.
A degree, and it's a backstreet, a certificate that was acquired, enabling him to serve as a lawyer, yet he never studied law. So it might be true, and therefore from there we can see actually a lot of things such as forgery, we have bribery, and that, a lack of intelligence among the leaders. And you can see Nicole wondering, if the mayor knows all this, why hasn't he charged these people? And he still says that the judges are also robbers. They are just temple robbers, and they are in the line of syndicate, so that there's nothing that can be done. Meaning that Mosi has given up. He is hopeless about any change, and he's not actually the right person to serve as a mayor, because a mayor does not give up. He's supposed to be someone who will fight against any ills and change the society, instead of saying that if this is this, then what do we do?
We're told that Mosi says the councils and elder men are being mobilized against him. He's been told to relocate, to demand and approve a budget reconciling, and to give each council member money to fight corrupt cases. This is all based on corruption, but Nicole clarifies the municipal council as a criminal enterprise. But Mosi defends himself by saying there are some very good and wonderful leaders in the chamber, and taking himself as an example. But Nicole is not convinced and asks Mosi if all the accusations leveled against him in the Samaritan are false.
To place claims, and we already know what the aldermen and councillors are being used, but then it doesn't really matter to Nicole. Nicole believes that the mayor should just do his part, and if he's worked, then nobody will have to make him leave office.
Mosi is putting all criminals to Ramdai. As he says, Ramdai's family is doing almost all municipal council projects that fall under his department. And he also tells Nicole how Jaden has misused power, granted his wife ran away, but he has countless mistresses and relatives doing business with the municipal council.
We see that Mayor Mosi admits that the accusation made by the Samaritan through the press against the Maracas municipality are all valid. He tries to exempt himself and put blame on his council colleagues, but without much success. He then puts all blame on the electors, saying that they are the ones who elected the errant officials to the overwhelming.
Peddling, and he sells them in casinos, so that we see young people taking them and they turn into people that are not worth in the society. He also claims that with his satanic glasses he threatens people, which means he's also in the same group as Ted. So then we realize that Mosi is trying to be an escapist. He does not want to take blame as a mayor, yet he's the overseer of what happens in the whole municipality of Maracas. He even says that there's nothing you can change. You see, the last statement he says, it cannot help. It will only make things worse. These people are naturally evil, and you cannot change them. And can you blame people for their nature? You see, it's like he has surrendered as a mayor that if people are corrupt, they are just born that way, which we know it's a lie. So then he then turns again the problem to the voters and says the voters are the ones who voted in these wrong people, so they should not complain. If they voted in corrupt people, they should just take the vote silently instead of complaining.
Expecting a holler mountain, they should not complain when it starts falling because they now want to read in silence. And also he says that a computer program cannot stop a monkey from eating bananas. And Nicole says that they are demanding things to be done right and justice be served. Mosi asked Nicole if she understands her situation, and Nicole says that she understands his situation perfectly.
Was what? A political weapon. Because if it is there to allow people to whine, complain, and then you are again saying that it will serve as a blessing, a platform that will remove corrupt leaders. Remember, he himself is corrupt. So such Nicole's boldness to show him what the app will do really pains him, and that's why he begins now to turn into a violent individual with a tremor in his voice and all that. But we can see Nicole has said that justice will be served. If the app will be maintained, justice will be served. Most even claims that they only voted monkeys into the parliament, and if they hold, let them not complain. You cannot expect a monkey to eat anything else apart from bananas, and they can eat even bananas with peels, the peelings that is. So Moses still seeming to defend himself and his true, and at the same time he is emotional about the entire reaction of Nicole. Page 2.
Playing politics instead of teaching. Nicole says that as teachers they try their best to mold the character of their learners, whereby teaching them how to uphold morals and civil virtue, without which their society can never prosper. She also explains that they are looking for people who can create and innovate things that can replace not only the police but also the politicians.
Claiming that the app cannot do anything, and the blame comes now from the voters. It lands to the teachers. That the teachers are the ones to be blamed for what they do in the society. They teach the students wrong things instead of offering them lessons on upholding morality and civic virtues. They only begin to tell them that they can be replaced, leaders can be replaced, that the police can be replaced by robots, and such things cannot work. Do you believe in what Moses is saying here? Yes? That it is true that it is the teachers who don't teach morality. Because if you look at what Nicole is doing, if this app is going to check on how logistics is conducted, how procurement is done, is this not focusing towards morality? Yeah, and checking on how people dispose, maybe if it is waste, pollution should not be there, and all that. So it is only Mosi does not see the part of future, but sees the part that defends him. And that's why he's telling Nicole to stick on the line of teaching content and not telling them about the app and how they can replace human beings. So there is some sort of fear that makes Mosi kind of now want to attack Nicole and blame her, because he thought he would have brainwashed Nicole into accepting that indeed the mistake is not Moses, but the other leaders he has mentioned, say Mara dieted and all that. But he has realized that Nicole is not giving in. She's insisting that the app will help, because it's a creative aspect from the students. It will help to bring the necessary change. Finally,
the Samaritan app because the app is damaging his reputation and undermining the entire administration of the municipality. So he throws his card on Nicole's face and told her to call him when all the negative information about him is deleted.
the students coming up with it, her being only a mentor is a cock and bull story. That's an idiom to mean it is just nonsense, you know. It is not here or there. And then he now begins to threaten Nicole that he's Mosio Atunya, the small, the handles. And if she does not remove the negative post, then she will understand actually who Mosi or Atunya is, because he is smoke that handles. So we actually end Act 2 seeing the reaction of Mosi and the stand of Nicole as a determined, focused, and incorruptible lady that does not give in because of whatever Mosi is telling her.